The time has come for another awakening in Blue Lock, and this time, the crow simply needed to just spread his wings and fly. With TABITO KARASU and others going absolutely crazy today, the Blue Lock chapter 335 leaks have randomly dropped as usual. Can we just have one single week where the leakers communicate with the community? Come on now. Also, sorry for how I sound, I'm a bit stuffy and sick. No matter the case, if you're hyped for today's video and want to support the channel, drop your predictions in the comments, hype the video if you're on mobile, and above all, make sure you subscribe to the channel. Also, if you'd like to read along with the pages, feel free to go to this Twitter page real quick, as I myself am not trying to have my house raided by the Japanese authorities. I hope you all enjoyed today's leaks, and let's get right into it. As usual, today's leaks begin with intro text that reads, Isagi's shot is saved and possession mercilessly shifts to France, with the attack heading straight towards the rebellious prodigy, Julian Loki. The first page shows France's goalkeeper winding up for a huge throw-in as Oliver Aiku immediately yells for Japan to fall back and stay alert. Haru and Reo both look worried, and for a good reason, because at the bottom of the page, Loki is already taking off up the pitch with whitened eyes. The ball gets launched across the field, and Loki is instantly dashing past people. Hitoshirin is at least trying to pursue him, but Loki's acceleration is just different. France don't even bother with a slow build-up, as they could just let Loki run wild like this, and who can blame them? We then cut over to the Blue Lock Japan bench, where Henri is visibly panicking while Ego leans forward with that cold, focused stare. Henri straight up says that their strategies have been completely read, and asks if they have a backup or substitution plan ready. Isagi. Ego though says nothing, which honestly makes the moment heavier. Down on the field, Loki traps the ball cleanly and looks forward with his own cold expression, except he is not in support of Japan or Isagi. Loki then bursts forward as we see Hiori and Isagi get completely blitzed with zero time to react. This is the second time they've had to deal with this speed, the first being against PXG, and it still looks just as devastating as before. I mean, you have to feel bad for them. But right before Loki can break through cleanly, Chigiri flies in from the side, grabs onto him, and literally tells him to wait up while calling him a speed demon. Page 5 then gives us two great angles, one from above and one from below, as Chigiri and Loki go shoulder to shoulder, shoving each other while dueling for possession. And no, Chigiri is not matching Julian Loki's speed. He's barely keeping up, and that's with his arm around Loki, and he's still straining. He even admits internally that Isagi was wrong, as Julian Loki is not just fast, but his contact play is strong and solid too. Out of nowhere though, and to Julian Loki's surprise, Karasu Tabito slides in and makes a perfectly timed tackle, sweeping the ball away thanks to Chigiri's tight man marking. It's a clean defensive stop that finally kills France's momentum on the counter. Karasu and Chigiri acknowledge each other's help for the shutdown, and Japan finally regain possession. But let me backtrack for just a second here, because maybe Isagi was actually right earlier. How in the world does Loki not glance up and notice Karasu waiting all alone on defense like that after the previous chapter? I mean, it just feels a little convenient to say that Chigiri distracted him fully, but at the same time, props to Karasu for absolutely reading that play. With the ball now at his feet, Karasu immediately starts analyzing the pitch from Japan's half while Loki turns and sprints straight back at him. Despite the pressure, Karasu stays cool and admits internally that he only stole the ball thanks to Chigiri, and even then it was by a small margin. Charles, meanwhile, is over here mocking Isagi again and activating those contrarian eyes, and that is when Karasu pieces together the real issue. Any route that depends on Isagi is right now dead in the water. As Karasu pushes forward knowing he has to create something himself, we then even get a cold little detail of a crow flying near his shoulder, just reinforcing that he has one of the best aura manifestations in all of Blue Lock. We then cut back to Isagi, who is still stuck on Hugo's words about destiny. Isagi is brutally honest with himself here and admits that his current skill set is not enough to break through France as he is. While Karasu holds off a French player, Isagi's puzzle imagery begins crumbling as Hugo's voice echoes in his head. He actually considers it seriously. Living is number 2, focusing on making the team win instead of chasing his own goal and evolving the team instead of himself. He even admits that this might be the best answer to defeat the world's champion France, but then he snaps out of it. His expression sharpens, the puzzle pieces settle, and he rejects that mindset completely. Isagi yells that accepting that role would not suit a Blue Locker, and he calls out to Karasu for a pass. He straight up declares that to become the world's best striker, his ego is the one thing he can never give up, no matter what happens. He will always have to find a way to adapt. That is Isagi clinging to his identity as a striker with everything he has, just like we saw with his shot from last chapter, but hey, everybody was saying he was on fraud watch. The perspective then shifts to Karasu, and he is not buying into the speech at all, at least in the context of this play. With his flow eyes active, he basically realizes that this is not an opponent you can beat with willpower alone. France is on a completely different level, and if they keep relying on Isagi to be the answer every time, Japan will die here. Sound familiar? That thought alone pushes him to a decision. If someone has to change, it will be him. And then we get one of the hardest aura manifestation moments in all of Blue Lock. Karasu literally begins to take on the form of a crow, with his wings spreading behind him, claws digging into the ground, and a dark feathery aura crawling around his neck. In that state of pure focus and bird, Karasu declares that for the sake of Blue Lock, he will become Japan's number 2. Not a side character, not a backup, but the brain that supports the striker from the shadows, the one that knows everything. Every Isagi fan better thank Karasu here and now because he just pulled your boy right out of a full mental spiral, and a really bad situation. A defender steps in expecting Karasu to pass, but instead, he feints and dribbles right past him, even catching Isagi and Hugo off guard. He then pushes both past Isagi and Charles while scanning the pitch with metavision, and you can just see the pure confusion on both of their faces. Charles comments that their entire vibe has shifted, and Fran starts calling out to watch for a shot, but Karasu basically kills that idea immediately by mocking them in that idea. From above, with crow feathers almost raining down around him, Karasu narrows his thoughts. Japan's crow says that they must erase his striker ego and strip away all unnecessary information, focusing only on the one role Japan needs right now, becoming the essential number 2. And honestly, this development is huge, because it shows one of Ego's own players bending the original philosophy in order to survive, even somebody else's. It quietly raises the question and challenges whether Side B and Kara's ideology might have some validity in certain situations in the future. Looking ahead, Karasu spots Rin, Chigure, and Isagi and bluntly labels them all dumbasses because none of them are in his ideal spot. Instead of forcing a bad play, he decides to discard the current design entirely and create a new one on the fly. He finally commits and releases a pass after pushing off his mark, and then we get the big reveal moment. Bachara is sprinting upfield, Rin is being locked down by Hugo, and Isagi looks genuinely shocked. So the question becomes, who Karasu actually selected as a striker? And the answer is Hiori. Yes, Yo Hiori, the same player people have been slandering since the PXG and Nigeria match and calling a plot merchant, and those shot attempts, if we can call them that. Even the dialogue in the Nigeria match indicated that he does not have a striker ego, but maybe Karasu is just talking about, in the context of the situation, who's in the best position? I don't know, man. You have to cut me some slack. I'm Lupion Komaru-sen, and I just watched one man turn into a crow and then choose a femboy as his ideal striker. What a year to be alive. Hiori traps the ball calmly and tells Karasu that it feels like the two of them are tied together by destiny. This might be out. Anyways, the final panel mirrors Isagi and Hiori's PXG link-up is now with Karasu instead. Hiori looks forward with aura in his eyes, ready to design the next play with Japan's number 2. The outro text now even says that their link-up will blow the game wide open, and honestly, with Karasu acting as the true number 2, Japan might finally have a formula to break France and get their own goal. It's still pretty concerning that it seems like Julian Loki has not put forth his full effort yet, but hey, we ball no matter. With that ending out today's leaks, make sure to comment down below what you all thought about what went down. It was pretty easy to predict that TABITO Karasu would become Blue Lock Japan's number 2, but are you happy with this decision and the player filling the role? He seems to be still sticking partially true to Japan's ideology of everyone being a striker right off the bat though, as he ended off the leaks choosing Yo Hiori as his needed striker. So what do we all think about that too? No matter the case, I appreciate you all so much for supporting my channel, and if you have a moment, please just double check that you're subscribed to the channel just in case. I hope you all have an amazing day, stay safe, and I'll see you all next time. I'm gonna go try to breathe now.